So all this stuff going on, there's a real shift occurring in the market. So in the olden days, it could be just a year ago, it wasn't cost effective to reach customers directly because you didn't really have a good way to do it other than direct mail. But that can get pricey if you do a lot of that as well. So what you did was you would go to somebody that had an audience, i.e. a television station or a newspaper or radio, and you would advertise. And but now more and more people are blocking out advertising. I know we have PVR at home. We don't even watch television commercials. We listen to podcasts more than we listen to the radio. We're still bombarded with ads, but we kind of tend to block them out. So what's happening now is that the internet is making all of this advertising almost redundant, because if somebody wants to find a caterer, they don't have to necessarily listen to the radio at the right time. They can go to Google or go to a recommendation from a friend and find out who a caterer is. So there's kind of a shift going on because it's all going online, and kind of carrying on this shift, people used to see and hear advertisements, and they either picked up the phone to call you or they walked through your door for more information. But now the first thing that people tend to do more and more is go to your website. And if they don't know your specific website address, they're going to go to Google and search for your website. So if you're not there, that doesn't facilitate your business very good. So that's why all this stuff is important, is because people are going to Google, they're going to your website, and they're also going to recommendations from friends on sites like Facebook and Twitter to find businesses to do business with. So that's kind of why this is so important. So if all these people are going online, what are they doing online? Well, if you look at the, I just pulled the stats from compete.com. It's a site that kind of manages or kind of looks at analytical data of website traffic. And what they see is that the top visited sites are Google, Yahoo, Facebook, and YouTube. So what does that tell you that they're doing? People are going on to the internet to find solutions. They're searching for stuff that they don't necessarily know the answer to already. Because if you knew a company that you wanted to go to, you would go directly to their site. You wouldn't go to Google first. So these people are looking for a solution. There's a whole pool of people that are looking for a solution. So that's the first two. The next one, Facebook. People are obviously going there to communicate with friends, and it's I know at least with my group of friends, that's kind of how we keep up to date with what's going on. Is everybody here on Facebook personally? No? Yes? No? Okay. So I guess that's where people are turning to kind of get their personal information, and it's kind of a Facebook obviously needs to make money, so they're also melding in a business portion to that. And because of all the data that you're providing Facebook, it's a very powerful platform to use as well. And then YouTube, people are watching videos. People go online, whether it's not just the water skiing squirrels that they're going to watch. It's all kinds of stuff. I do, and I'm going to get into this more later, but when I talk about doing videos for my sprinkler company, what we do is how-to videos. So we catch the people that are searching for, how do I install a sprinkler? How do I adjust a sprinkler? And we put out content to answer those questions. And then, so that's where we get all our views from. But then that traffic we can turn into customers as well. So we'll get to that. But also, they're looking to buy stuff, because number 5 and number 6, eBay and Amazon, are purely commercial sites. Pretty much the only thing you can go to those sites for is to shop with the intention of at least at some point buying something. So these people aren't just going on there not wanting to buy stuff. They have consumer intentions. And so we haven't talked about Twitter yet. Where's Twitter fit into all this? Well, it's number 46 on the most visited list of sites, but their traffic grew by 413% last year, which in the top 50 list that I had was the biggest jump in traffic year over year, except for Bing.com, but they didn't really exist before last year. So yeah.
I read a stat about Twitter saying that most people join but leave within 3 months. So it maybe is growing, but people don't go back to it, and that's maybe why it's 46.
Yeah, that could be. But also, the other thing is, and I've seen that stat too, and it's a little bit harder to get into because it did take me a little while to kind of figure it out. But once you do get into it, it's very addicting. People are, and that's why I've got the cigarette package on there, is because once people do get into it, it's just like Facebook. You always want to go and see what the conversation is all about and that sort of thing. So there's also a reason that the traffic numbers can be down, and that's because there's a lot of third-party applications that are built on top of Twitter.com that you can access your Twitter feed. So I can go on to my BlackBerry application, Uber Twitter, and I can see everything. I can check that 10 times a day, and that won't show up in their traffic numbers. So so that's I will admit that Twitter isn't quite there yet as far as retention goes and popularity, like Facebook is. Like we just went around the room, everybody's on Facebook, but I would say that probably the numbers of people that are on Twitter is lower. Is anybody on Twitter in here? No. Okay, so there you go. So Facebook is a little bit easier to catch on to because you can do a lot more things. Twitter is basically just, all you can do is post 140 characters. And it was built on top of SMS or text messaging, and that's the maximum number of characters that you can enter into a text message. So it keeps everything kind of concise. But what Twitter is great at is pointing to other places. So if you've got articles or something like that, you can post links to go elsewhere. And it's I'm going to talk about Twitter a little bit later on at the end of the presentation because I think it's long term it's going to be good for growth as well.